Okay, so this screencast is going to help you get your Works Cited page set up. Sorry for my voice, I'll have to re-record this another time, but for now, I'll get us through it. So the two sources that I want to put on my Works Cited page are this website and my personal or my informational interview. So if we go to our document, we should be on page 2, or if you've already started drafting, you might be on page 3, doesn't matter. What you want to do is just hit enter and make sure that your cursor is off to the left side. So you can either do that by hitting backspace or by hitting this button here. So for a website, the first thing you want to look for is an author's name. Usually it'll be up towards the front. Sometimes it's towards the bottom. But for here, I don't see one, so we're just going to leave that blank. The next thing we do is put the article title. So we're going to use the Beginner's Guide on How to Become a Teacher. So I'm just going to type that on how to become a teacher. Put a period after that, and then make sure you capitalize all of the words except for any prepositions like on or to, or any articles like a, an, or the. The next thing we want to look for is any kind of editor, publisher, or association that goes along with the organization, or that goes along with the website. And so to me, that would be this teacher certification degrees. So that's going to go in italics. And then we do a comma, and we want to look for the last date that it was revised. Again, if you don't see anything up at the front, it's probably going to be way down at the very bottom. So I am seeing way down here. Do you see where it says copyright 2017? That's fine if all you have is the year. So I'm just going to put that in. If you had an actual date, you would format it just like we did the date on our heading. You would do, like if it was today's date or tomorrow's date, you would do 20 September 2017. Then, oh, sorry, just kidding. Put a comma there, not a period. Then we want the URL or the website address where you found it. The easiest thing to do is just copy and paste it from here. And then when you put a period and hit the space bar, it's going to create a hyperlink. Make sure you remove the hyperlink. You can do that by either hitting the delete or the backspace, or I think you can highlight it, right click, and there should be an option to remove hyperlink. I don't think I have that option since I just removed it. Okay, and then the last thing you want is when you accessed it, and we'll format that the same way we format all of our MLA dates. Also, I don't care if you put today's date that you accessed it, or if you know when you originally took the notes. It doesn't matter to me. But this is our first entry. Then I'm going to do my personal interview. So I'm going to type in the person that I interviewed, their last name, comma, their first name, period. Then I'm just going to write, period. And then I will put the date that I conducted the interview. And again, it's fine if it's today's date. That's not due until tonight anyway. So if you have this much done, you're only halfway there. The first thing you need to do is make sure that your entries are in alphabetical order. So you want to look at whatever word is first in the entry. However, if it's a word like the, you would want to ignore that when you're alphabetizing. You also can ignore the word a and an. Again, we're ignoring the articles, a, an, and the. So if I use B then as my first word, that comes before L, so this is in a fine order, I can leave it. But the next thing you need to do is make sure you have a hanging indent. So the easiest way to do this is to go to View, make sure your ruler is checked, and then you should see this up here. So what you'll do next is highlight all of your entries, and then you want to select the bottom triangle, not this little rectangle. If it says left margin, that's going to be wrong. You want to hover above it so that when you grab it, It's just that top triangle. And you move it over halfway between where you are now and the number 1, and then let go. And see how it moved the second 2 lines to that hanging indent. And now everything else that you enter, if you come up with things later, will have that hanging indent as well. So that's your works cited page. You're ready to start drafting. The only other thing I want to draw your attention to is how you know what to put in parentheses. Like, let's say I'm drafting something. In my overview, I want to include something from this website. So, I don't know, let's just pretend that I don't know why this is taking forever, sorry. Let's just pretend that I'm going to say, I want this quote. I like this quote. A career in teaching can be both satisfying and challenging. Okay, so I always want you to lead into quotes. So what we would say is something like, the beginner's guide to, what was it called? On how to become a teacher states, and then I'm going to copy that quote. So sometimes when you copy and paste stuff, it moves over some formatting as well. So when you do that, I can tell, and you need to fix it. The best way to do it is to highlight either what you brought over, or you can just highlight the whole thing. Go to your home screen, and do you see the little A with this pink thing? That's an eraser. So when you click on that, it's going to get rid of whatever formatting the website put it in. Now, obviously, like, I need to redo my double spacing because it messed that up. But since I'm including a direct quote from the source, I need to use a citation. So the period goes after, and the way that you know what to put in parentheses will depend on what your works cited page says for that entry. So since it's coming from this source, I'm going to use whatever the first words are in the entry. So I would say the beginner's guide on how to become a teacher. Now, that's kind of long, so you can shorten these if you want. So what I could put in parentheses here would be the beginner's guide, ... end quote, and then there's my period there. This looks a little funky. There are a lot of quotation marks in here, but that's how you ultimately cite that. Let's say I want to include something from my personal interview. I would just say something like, according to technology guru Michael Luer, Luehr, the best way to get into coding is through a program called, I don't know, we're going to say A+. I don't even know if that's a thing. Let's just pretend. But what I put in parentheses then for his citation, again, it's whatever word is first. So since it's just one name, we're just going to include that. Since this was a title, we went a little further than just this first word. So here I would just do Luer. Since there aren't page numbers to things that are on websites or to personal interviews, just don't worry about a page. You wouldn't put like NP or anything like that. Just leave it like this. And I think that that's enough to get you started. And then I can help you and check over everything when I'm back tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. Sorry again about my voice. Bye-bye.